What is up, everybody? So I'm back today to talk about a film I found streaming on Hulu. This was a movie that I had absolutely no idea about, but it was on my recommended films on Hulu, and sometimes I'm like, you know what? If it's in the horror genre, I'll give it a shot. And I was pleasantly surprised by this movie. I don't think it's a masterpiece by any means, but it was definitely unique enough, and the vision from the director was executed really well to where I enjoyed the experience. And the movie I'm going to be talking about today is The Free Fall. The Free Fall is directed by Adam Stilwell. Sarah wakes from a coma to a life she doesn't remember, a fragile, slippery reality that spirals into a nightmare where nothing is as it seems. So other than Shawn Ashmore, who plays the husband in this film, I was not familiar with any of the other actors in this movie, but they all did an okay job. I feel like the lead actress was definitely the strongest performer in this film. On the surface, you have our lead character, Sarah, who was talking to her sister at the beginning of the film, and she's going to visit her parents at their house for their anniversary. And she drives with flowers to the house. She gets there, the dinner table's all set up for them to eat, but he's there. And so she kind of walks up the stairs and she doesn't hear anything. She doesn't know what's going on. And she walks into her parents' bedroom, and her mom is dressed up in her bridal gown and her dad is in his tuxedo, and she's got a knife in her hand and she's repeatedly stabbing her father over and over and over again. She passes out after she sees that, and when she wakes up, she's being woken up by Shawn Ashmore's character, who says that she tried to kill herself and that he found her in the bathtub. He's going to try to help her try to kind of get back to normal, and that the doctor said that she lost all of her memories. She's not going to know what's going on, and that it's going to be them trying to rebuild her brain. And at the same time, she has these visions where she sees her sister and these other people, but it's a really hazy vision and she can't move, and she always wakes up back in the house. And so the film really is just this hour and a half long mind game with you as an audience member as to what is actually going on and what is reality, what is in her head. And the third act of this movie surprised me with the direction that they went. I feel like they went for it completely. And I always commend directors like this. I talked about a film recently called Off Season by Mickey Keating. And despite some of the corny flaws that I had with the script, I felt like it was really scary and effective and well shot. And I felt the same about this movie. The cinematography in this film was actually really nice. It was really cool to look at. There's some really great visual sequences in this film that kind of toy with you as an audience member. And it's a really slow burn movie where you're really trying to pick apart these characters, and you look at Sarah as the lead and you're trying to figure out how much of what she's giving you can you trust. Shawn Ashmore, who plays her husband, he's a writer who lives in the house. He ends up hiring this woman to help him around the house because he's so busy all the time writing this material. And kind of the back and forth pull with them and trying to figure out what's his deal. Why is he acting the way that he's acting? And it really creates this sort of interesting conflict for the audience member where you're like, okay, who am I supposed to believe? What is actually going on? And all of these little elements introduced. You have certain little things where at the beginning of the film, you hear this really loud grandfather clock that you see at the beginning of the movie. And at one point, Rose, who's the maid in the house, Sarah goes by her and says, "Hey, where's the grandfather clock?" And she looks at her and says, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "There's a clock here. I can hear it. I've heard it before. I remember hearing it when I was younger." And she says, "There is no grandfather clock here. There's never been one." And so you're kind of piecing together in your mind, okay, is this reality and what's going on? And I love films like that. Some of my favorite movies are ones where there are unreliable narrators. There's people in the film that you can't trust. And that's what I liked about Shawn Ashmore's performance in particular, is like he starts off as the very like inviting husband who's doing everything that he can to take care of his wife, and like this, oh, you've been through this absolutely horrible tragedy. I'm so sorry you've lived through all this. Please let me help you get through this. You've dealt with so much. You don't deserve the amount of things that you've gone through. But then the little things that he does to snap, or the little things that he does that kind of show a darker side to him, and you as an audience member trying to discern, okay, is this just a small thing, or is this getting worse and worse and worse? And I really appreciated that about this movie. I felt like it kind of took you on this journey where you felt you couldn't trust anyone, even the person who you're feeling for the most. And those kind of movies are the ones that I find really immersive and great. I do feel like there were some cheap jump scares in this film. I feel like if you're making a horror movie in this era, there's going to be cheap jump scares in it. You just kind of come to expect it at this point. But there's also a lot of really nuanced scares in this film as well, and there's a lot of toying with your head as an audience member. And I can appreciate all that stuff, and I felt like despite some of the cheesy dialogue moments, and there's a couple of actors in this film that really aren't that great, that it really was a fun and immersive film. And I don't want to talk too much more into plot details, because I feel like this is one that if you have a Hulu subscription, you should just go watch it blind. It was so much fun, and it was entertaining and engaging, and I really recommend it. So have you seen The Free Fall? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was really entertaining. Despite the problems that I had with it, I still think it was 100% worth checking out. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, it helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.